Hello everybody, this is Ken Faulkner, and it's time again to keep moving through the collection. It's exhausting. You know, I'm not the best at organizing. I'm not the best at, keeping my collection and, every knife where it's supposed to be, that kind of thing. I wish I was more OCD. I wish I was more organized and that kind of stuff, but I'm not. And I do have my spreadsheet that definitely helps a lot, but I already went through this video. I pretty much did the whole thing. I was almost done. And what happened was that a couple times during it, I ended up having to pause the video in order to go and find a knife that I hadn't got out from the list. It got like 28 or 30 knives or something like that. And the video was getting super long, and I kept making mistakes, and I finally just said, it's all for the best. I really got to start this thing over. So let's try to get through this thing. I try to give you all the information, but not blah, blah, blah too long. First knife is the Pochi. Crazy knife. Every once in a while, you got your standard knives, but this is definitely not one of those. This one, it's kind of got a flipper, sort of. But it doesn't really work completely. But that flipper is actually used as the other foot of this little dog. And you can tell it's a dog because it's got this little tail. How cute is that? Now this one is in my girlfriend's collection. I bought it specifically for her in order to specifically get her interested in knives. And it definitely was a gateway for her. And she is definitely getting into it, even though she won't admit it. So this one, the price range on this group is actually $160 up to $275. The reason why this $160 knife is here because I ended up at the top of number 6 video. This is at number 7. It was $160, but as I was going through this, the girlfriend was coming around saying, well, you need some of my knives for the collection video? And she's all, this is how I know she's into knives. And it turned out I didn't have the Pochi on my list in my spreadsheet. Put it in there, $160. And so it works. It's right at the bottom of this list because I was starting at just above $160. So Pochi just got in under the wire. The Pochi at $160. We got a frame lock on this little guy. You see the little frame lock, the little footprint on the, all these little details. Frame lock titanium handles. And it's got S45VN, so they didn't skimp on the material of the blade steel. It's a clip point, is what you can call it. You got that little clip there that turns into like a little dog's face with a dog's eye. And it's made in Taiwan. Moving on. We're on to Benchmade. I have like 2 Benchmades in my collection, and they're both in this category from 160 to 275. The first one is one that you all know about with a slight little modification. It is the Bugout. It's the Bugout. Normally comes with those really super lightweight, and it's still lightweight, but the FRN handles that are kind of plasticky, that kind of flex. So this one is a Flightanium G10, and there's really not anywhere close to the kind of flex. It's got this nice contouring here, so it kind of thickens out in this part, and then it gets thinner around the axis lock because you do need to be able to, get in there. So they came up with this design. I can't remember the name of it, but it's cool. Purple. It's got that kind of G10 that looks a little like wood because it's got the layers in it. Great knife. It's a little bit high in price with the FRN on it. It's worth it. Now that price is prior to putting these on, so it's going to be worth a little bit more. I can't remember how much I paid for these scales. They're reasonable though. Flightanium is pretty good price on that. It was kind of a bear taking this apart and put it back together because it's that access lock. I don't have that little tool to keep everything lined up, but I managed to make it work. So we got the pop of the blue. We got the purple. Still got the blue backspacers. They look kind of cool. I like the look of it. And it's a Benchmade. Got the butterfly on it. It's a legit one. It's not a. I bought this from Blade HQ. Just you got to watch out who you're buying from, because you hear about all these counterfeits. Anyway, the Bugout, it's $162. Spear point crossbar lock, which is really the official Axis lock where it all started, S30V, and the Bugout. Moving on. Work Tough gear. We've got a couple of those here in this price category. These are the only two I actually own. Although I like them, I'm not as much of a collector of fixed blades. I do like them. I do have several in my collection, but as far as the number of knives I have versus how many fixed blades I have, definitely have more folders. Work Tough Gear Nomad Bushcrafter. They have a bunch of different knives in the Nomad series. I couldn't name them all, but this has got that flat back. This is an N690 steel. G10 handles, which they always do just great contouring. It just got the swell in there. It swells in the back, swells in the front. It locks you in, keeps you from, if you're pulling or pushing or whatever you're doing with this thing, you're going to be able to keep a hold of it. Nice orange liners in there. I said N690 steel. And it's made in Taiwan, just like all the Work Tough Gear stuff is. I use this one as a pocket fixed blade, and I got the Ulti clip on there. And it just clips onto the outside of you. So you drop this in your pocket, clip this on just like you would clip any knife clip, and just put it on. But this one actually locks in place, so that way if you're drawing the knife from your pocket, it does have that cool thumb ramp so it can pop off. So you just pop it off, but it stays in your pocket, and you got the knife, and then you just put it back when you're done. And that is the Nomad Bushcrafter from Work Tough Gear, $165. Next one is a Work Tough Gear, $169, but a lot more knife here. It's definitely more of a beast, although Work Tough Gear has some pretty huge knives. But this one I bought used, but it's in great condition. It's got this cool, I think it's like apocalyptic finish on it. If you can see there, it kind of helps keep from showing any wear over time. It's got the recurve here, got a nice belly up here. It's a fighter, theoretically that is what it is. Obviously you can use it for a lot of different things. But it's kind of that fighter design. It's got the choke up position. You can come back here and chop. This thing will chop very well. Kydex sheath again. It's got that other clip that is escaping me the name of it, but you squeeze this and it I should know, but obviously I'm not as much of a fixed blade guy. But anyway, you can put it in different positions. So if you want to carry it scout or regular, and then it clips in on your belt. And yeah, this is the Lanzetta, in case I didn't mention that. Work Tough Gear SK85 steel. You don't see that much in folders, but it's great steel for fixed blades. Again, made it in Taiwan, $169. Moving on, we got Damn Designs. This is the Wraith, and there's a bit of a story behind this one. It is a knife that I bought for my girlfriend. First blade show we ever went to. It happened to be in Long Beach for 1 year, and it could just drive there. Damn Designs was there. It's the only time I've seen them at a show. The guy, I think his name is Anthony from Tactical Everyday Dad. He was helping out at that booth. He had a knife in his pocket. I think it was called the Yokai. Girlfriend still talks about that knife. She wanted that knife so bad, but it was one that was no longer available. And she was saying, hey, why don't you just sell it to me? She didn't quite get it. She doesn't quite get. She's getting into the knife game, but she doesn't quite get it sometimes. Anyway, next day, Anthony, because it's a 2-day show, came back and had this one. We went up to the booth, and he said, hey, I got this one. And my girlfriend was willing to accept it, even though she really wanted that Yokai. This is called the Wraith. There's a couple knives called the Wraith that I actually have another one called the Wraith in my collection. It's got that damn design pivot. So the steel on this one is a liner lock, M390. Calling it a sheep's foot. You can call it whatever you want. Carbon fiber. It's pretty good. It's got some grip to it. It's got some milling to it. So, and it fits. It's very narrow, so it fits really well in the pocket. Nice and tall, so it still fills your hand. Great knife, made in China, $175. Moving on. Concept. Got a couple concepts in this part of the collection. This is one that I got recently, the Finrear. And the video that I made on this wasn't that long ago, so you may have seen it. It's got a nice front flipper. And it's got the thumb studs that work well. And this is a left-handed knife, and I didn't realize when I bought it. I told the whole story in the video. I just don't want to go on to it too much, but you know, I thought about sending it back, but actually it's not hard at all. It's instead of a push to move the liner over, it's just a little pull. It's very easy to actuate, so I don't really have a problem with it. And this one I can carry in my front left pocket with the blade up against the side rather than the back pocket, which I do normally for my right-handed clipped knives. So it gives me that option. It's a great knife. I've always liked this knife. I finally just kind of bit the bullet, kind of like fell off the wagon really before Blade Show. I really shouldn't have been buying it, but I did. I think it's Strix design. It's got that cool logo on there. So it's the Finrear from Concept. I always say that wrong. Subframe lock is what I'm calling it. CPM S35VN. Call it Harpoon. Kind of a harpoon. It's great for holding like this because you got a place for your index and thumb to really hold on to this blade. You can get the whole hand in the back here. Choked back. Carbon fiber, really beautiful. A titanium. On the kind of reverse bolster. It's like I think the bolster's on the wrong end of the knife. Anyhow, China, $178. Moving on. We got a knife from M3 Tactical, and another type of knife that I don't have a lot in my collection, kind of like the fixed blades. Partially because California, not being fond of them, but partially just because it's not as much my style as a flipper folder type knife. Great blade shape, great grinds, just beautiful work. M3 Tactical, small company. They do some like fairly small drops. A little higher priced. This one was $179. Make sure I got that right. $179.99. I was traveling, visiting family in Arizona, and I went to a knife shop there, and they had this one. I was looking for an out to front just to have one in the collection. This is the first one that I really actually had in my collection, and it turned out it's a Cali legal because the blade is sub 2 inch. So M3 Tactical, USA made. There was some debate on that. I'm not going to get into that stuff. It's an OTF M390 blade, which is beautiful. It just, I can't say that enough. Aluminum handles with some cool grinding on it. That the switch is very cool, how it ramps up, and it's got all that grip on it. It's just well made. I mean, really well made. I think $180 for this is a really good deal. It's called the Rogue, if I didn't mention that. M3 Tactical, US made. Let's move on. Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Classic. One of the earlier Spydercos. I got several Spydercos in this group of knives at this price range, if I could find it. This one had the G10 handles, and I know it's here because I did this whole video and I had to scrap it. There it is. All right, Spyderco PM2 Paramilitary 2. Great. This also has that index finger thumb thing. I really love this, and then it's got that kind of almost leaf shape kind of knife blade. So similar to the Finrear kind of shape. I just love that. Obviously this is Spyderco, so it's got the hole. So we got that nice actuation there. Got the compression lock on this one, drops really well. S45EN blade. These are titanium handles from Flytanium. Price is $185.50, but that doesn't include the upgrade on the scale, so I'm just not up on that and keeping that as part of my spreadsheet here. Great knife. Compression works really well. It's a little bit loose. When I took it apart, I don't know, I must have done something wrong putting it back together, but still works really well. Anyway, PM2. Price is $185.50 before the Flytanium scales. Next, another fixed blade. Even though there's more fixed blades in this portion of the collection, you can see that there's still not the prime focus of my collection. This is the Guardian 3 from Bradford. Got this at a show. It was just really cool to be able to handle the knife, check it out. They had all these options. When you go to buy them at the show, at least at the one I went to, they will take it apart and put different handles on there if you want. They'll say, you know, whatever handle you want on this blade, we'll put it on there. This is the sheath that comes with it. It's really set up for that, you know, what do you call it? Scout carry or appendix carry, which is what I usually will do, the appendix. Put the belt right through there. They have an option for a Kydex version sheath that you can buy separately. I just didn't do it. I may do it sometime and make it a pocket dropper because it would be the right size for that. Anyway, that's the Bradford 3 or Bradford Guardian 3 M390 steel. Price is $189, and it is USA made. And it has a really good handle, even though it's kind of small, but with the forward finger choil, it all locks in very well. Good chimping up here with the choil. Again, you're getting that index thumb kind of grip. Moving on. Is the Doug Ritter. I call it the RSK. I guess the full name is RSK MK1-G10 or G2. And maybe the G2 is for the handle. I don't know. I think, was this like supposed to be like the Griptilian or something like that? So this is the Knife Rights one. When you buy these, the money goes to Doug Ritter, but that helps him to be able to do what he does. So it doesn't go directly to Knife Rights, but it helps him support him and his family so he can do the work that he does, because he's volunteering quite a bit of his time and effort. Great guy. I've met him, talked to him a couple times at Blade Show. If you don't know who he is, check out the website. He's always asking for donations, and I think it's an excellent cause. It's one of the few, I don't donate to too many things, but that's one of the things that I do donate to is Knife Rights. Crossbar lock works really well. CPM 20CV. Drop point G10 handles, which has this crazy milling in it that looks cool and works really well. It feels really good in the hand. USA made knife. The Doug Ritter RSK. Moving on, this is an Italian company, and I bought this at a knife shop, not knowing anything about them, and I really don't know a lot about them, but I did see them at Blade Show, and I was talking to them and say, hey, I got this little reactor knife. It most of the stuff they had were smaller knives than this. You know, I like big knives. So this attracted me. It's a pretty good size blade. I mean, I think we're talking probably 4 inches, maybe 4 1/8. That makes the handle pretty long, but still, it's comfortable in my hand. This is again one of those ones that's tall this way, but narrow this way, relatively speaking. So it fills the hand, but it doesn't fill the pocket as much. This is a little filler for the clip that can be put on both sides. It's got G10 on this side and titanium, which is really nicely milled. This is a really cool knife. I mean, it's $192.95. At the time, that was a lot of money for me. I actually bought this at the same time as I got that M3 Tactical OTF. And I had to call the girlfriend and say, hey, I got these two knives. I'm trying to decide which one. She told me to go for both of them. So, you know, she is a big supporter. She doesn't understand a lot sometimes about what I do with this collection. Why do I have so many knives? But she supports me so much. Sometimes she's almost an enabler, but, you know, I'll go with it. Maserin Reactor. Frame lock is D2 steel. Cool fuller on there. Cool little symbol on there. I guess the company's still around, even though I don't know that much about them. Maybe you guys know more than I do. With the titanium on one side and G10 on the other side. And let's move on. Spyderco, another Spyderco. One of my favorite Spydercos. It looks like the Yojumbo, but it is the Yojumbo because it's a monster. Big old knife. Again, we're talking about a long blade, and this one is basically a 4-inch cutting edge. I mean, it's long. Wharncliffe, it's nasty. It's got that crazy point. You can do so much with it. Got a hollow grind that will slice extremely well. Michael Janish design. He knows what he's doing. He trained at military and police for many years on knife fighting. I took a class, not from him directly, but from one of the people that have worked in his system. It was quite a cool class. Lots of cool knowledge there. You know, some people say, well, why do you have to learn how to fight with a knife? The reality of it is that they give you ideas on what areas to strike and how to block and strike in a flowing motion where you may block and cut at the same time. There's a lot to it. You really can't know until you've trained. And I haven't trained nearly as much as I would like to. This one's a Golden Colorado USA Earth. Design G10, got that flat G10, unlike the PM2 that I have with the titanium, which contours. This one is more that flat G10, but it's still very grippy. I really like it. You can get aftermarket scales for this as well, but just haven't done it yet. S30V compression lock, got the nub thing. You kind of have to watch out for it, get out of the way when it closes, but I've gotten used to that. Let's move on. We're going to an American Blade Works Model 1. This is the only one of his that I have in my collection, but I really like the guy personally, just from meeting him at shows and talking to him. He's a great guy. He's just very enthusiastic about what he does, and he does it well. And it's USA made, and he keeps his prices down. This one is, you get a lot of them that are titanium, but this one is the micarta, and I mean, titanium may be my favorite, but micarta is probably I don't know, it's up there with the carbon fibers and all that. A good micarta, especially one with a grip like this one has, and I love the way it patinas. Really good. This is one of the first, I think this is the first MagnaCut knife I actually bought. I got this at Blade Show last year, and I got the Hogue Deca in MagnaCut and this at the same show, but I think I bought this one first. It's got that kind of mill lines on the blade. I have never seen any negative impact of it, and it's kind of cool. It's a little different than other ones. The action is so good. It's all USA made. He even makes his own screws. The guy is phenomenal because he's like a one-man show, and he's been doing really well. He always sells out at the shows. He says he goes to a Blade Show and he will be sold out and leaving probably Sunday afternoon, or Saturday afternoon, second day of the show. Milled pocket clip, not plenty of room under there. It's just a cool design. The guy's, he comes from an engineering kind of background. That gear kind of backspacer, I'm sure that's titanium. Liner lock. So that's the Model 1B6, Magna Cut steel, drop point micarta, not micarta, yeah, micarta. Sorry, $199. Let's move on. Some more Artisan Cutlery. Got quite a few from them in my collection and in this group of price range. This one, I might as well bring them both out. I bought these both at the California Custom Show. The first time I went was this year. It's a close show, but for some reason I've just come off of Blade Show West. And in the past, I've just said I can't buy any more knives. And if I go to a show, I'm going to buy more knives. There's, I guess, 2 a year. One of them's closer to Blade Show West, and then the other one was a little bit further out. So I went to that one. I think it was kind of a little slower from what I heard. They don't really get as much traction at that show. But most of the knives there are high-end customs and things like that. But Artisan Cutlery was there, and I've been wanting to get this knife for a long time. And since there was not a lot of choices at that show that I could really afford, it turned out to be the time to get it. This one is $199, and it is a Ferrum Forge design, which I couldn't remember when I was doing the video the first time, so another plus to me redoing it. Ferrum Forge design, as you can kind of see by the shape, cool titanium handles, feels really good. I've liked this one for a long time and just hadn't pulled the trigger, and I'm glad it did. Really nice knife. But I was looking at this one and this one, which is a Gavco design, and again, kind of futuristic, space age kind of design, almost a fantasy kind of blade, but obviously a working tool, you know. So it's functional art, Gavco. It's interesting how it kind of tapers down, but it works okay. It's got all these kind of contours in here that, you know, that make it so it's not going to slide out of your hand. It's not smooth all the way down, and that kind of helps you to be able to hold on to the knife even though it's tapering here, and a nice contour on the sides as well. Whereas this is more flat and rounded. $199 for this as well. When I was looking at these ones at the show, I couldn't tell which one to buy. They ended up giving me a price break. Can't remember how much, but it was enough to make me buy both knives. This one is also quite dirty. I noticed it last time. I still haven't cleaned it, but I got to get on that. Cool. Gavco design. $199. Frame lock. Cool knife. Both of these are cool. I'm glad I actually ended up with both of them from Artisan Cutlery. All right, guys. Moving on. Next we have Aurora Knife and Tool. Do you know about these guys? They were at Blade Show. I think it's their first year at Blade Show. They have a knife that they did on a Kickstarter, and it took a while to get. I got it right before Blade Show. And I did a video on it, so you may already know about this knife. It's got that, what they call the roundhouse lock, which is when you see the exploded view, it's got a lot of stuff going on that make it work. And I didn't really show this when I did the video, but what happens is when you push the blade in, you got that liner right here on the same side as the button that actually you're pushing this way and the liner goes that way. So they're doing some kind of magic to make that happen, but it happens really well. The action is great on this. It's got a front flipper. It's got the back flipper. It's got the hole. So somebody knows about fidgeting. They got everything you might want. Slow rolling it with your thumb. Titanium. Good size knife. You can use the button to deploy. It's got the compound grinds, hollow in the back, flat in the front. Very cool knife, nice clip. Talked to the guy at the show. He was really enthusiastic. I love these enthusiastic makers. He's like all into it. He's got some cool designs for stickers and patches and t-shirts. He's just very, very artistic minded, and he's got a lot of great ideas, and I'm looking forward to more stuff from him. Kung Wu, first one out of the two. Maybe I'll do them both at the same time, because really The Zen is the first one. Oh, Truffles was $199. This one also $199. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 knives in this part of the collection that are $199. I guess it's because it feels so much better than $200. But anyway, $199 for the Zen from Kung Wu. Got this nice pivot collar. I think it's like a tight Mascus or something. It's got a cool pattern to it. And scales, titanium scales. Frame lock, nice clip, milled titanium. The steel on this one is L-Max. I guess they use a lot of L-Max. I think this one is also L-Max. So Kung Wu seems to be liking that L-Max steel. Don't have a lot in my collection, but I do like to have different ones. I'm not really a steel nerd, but I do like having them collection-wise. So anyway, this is the Zen. Also, it's got kind of like this, if I can get it, yeah, you can see it there. Orange peel. I like this orange peel. It gives it a nice texture. Titanium can be slick, but this keeps it from being like that. So I love titanium in general, the look, the weight, the feel of it, but sometimes it's slick. This gives it that nice grip. Cool design, almost kind of a leaf shape to it. You can flick it with the hole. You can top flip it. You know, there's all kinds of, I don't know, can't really hit that very well, but definitely you can top flip it with the thumb. You can also do the back flip. So back flipper, lots of ways to deploy. Cool milling, cool design. It just got some aesthetics to it with that collar. There's their little, I think that's the Kung Wu symbol there. And the Pulsar, which is further on down the list at, let's see what that price is. Get this little pop-up out of the way. The Kung Wu Pulsar is at $239, so it's a little more expensive, but it's got that axis type lock, crossbar type lock with these cool kind of wedge shaped things. Kind of reminds me of the way the Max 2 little buttons are. Got this really cool titanium with a milled pattern, the diamonds shape. Got kind of that cool backspacer there. Good place for a lanyard if you like them. Got some good jimping up here. The hole is useful for flicking. That's really the only deployment. You can also, I think you can get it with a thumb. I'm not that good at getting holes with the thumb, but yeah, great knife. I just love that tall blade shape like that with the finger choil on it, with a nice low tip that's in line with the pivot. Pulsar, that was $239 from Kung Wu. L-Max steel, like I said before, titanium handles, and made in China. Moving on, we're gonna back it up. Latama, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's an Italian company. Latama Victorium. Latama Victorium. I think Latama was around. I think they were around for a long time making switchblades in Italy. I guess that's where they all kind of came from, and I think they were. I was reading up on it when because I never heard of the company before. And I was looking up some stuff on their history, and I think they were a big part of the whole switchblade, that typical looking iconic switchblade with the button, and it comes out with that stiletto-ish, that blade, dagger blade. This one doesn't, I think I've been able to, I can hit the middle finger flick once in a while, but it's really not too dialed in as far as the detent for that, but the back flipper works really well. Button lock, had some stick. It's kind of pretty much gone, maybe a little bit there, but not much stick on the button anymore. I love the ano on this, and I never heard of the company. Started talking to the guy. This is at a show, and gave me a little discount, and here I am. So it's kind of got different. As far as I know, I've never really noticed that the pod clip doesn't work, so it must be fine. But it's up along the back spine of the blade. I mean the handle. And here I'm nailing it now. See, can't get it 100% of the time. I like the grinds on this blade. It's got a dual here up here, almost like a Tonto kind of look with the flat and the hollow, and then it's got this good swedge. So it's going to be good penetration on that tip. Good action, feels good in the hand. $199, last of the $199 knives from Latama Victorium, and Yuki, or Yuki is the name of, I think it's Yuki, Yuuki. That's my best idea of how it's pronounced. 20 CV blade, and I said $199 with titanium. Moving on, Spyderco again. This is the Caribbean. I think this is like a salt one. I think that's why this pattern is here. It's got the LC200 in steel, which supposedly is not going to corrode, like, no matter what, almost. I don't know what it would take to make it corrode, but I think it's more than what you would normally do, even if you were fishing with this or whatever. Nice texture. That design actually has texture on it. It's G10. It's got that flat Spyderco flat scale type thing, but nice and tall, and it fits well in the hand. You know, kind of, it's got those the swells where they need to be to really lock you in. The hole with a good hole of deployment. It's got the compression lock. This one is made in China. Oh, no, I'm sorry. So it's made in Taiwan. And LC200 in, like I said, compression lock, and it's $206.85. I won this on a bees giveaway, one of the top dog ones. And yeah, I'm super happy that I did. I think this may be the only LC200 in that I have. I think my girlfriend has a drop bear that has that material on the blade. So, great part of the collection. Let's move on. Another Spyderco. It's the Smock. This is one of their classics, like the PM2, Yojumbo, some of these other ones. The Smock is just one of those, or the Shaman. The Smock is just one of those knives. A little bit different because it does have a back flipper, and it does have this button lock, which is actually more of a top compression, top liner lock, like Vosti's putting out right now. You can see it pushes a liner off, which gives it some detent. You know, it has the detent ball, so that's kind of nice to have a button that has that detent on it. Carbon fiber with some really good texture. So it's kind of like the way their G10 is so well textured. This is even a little bit better. It feels a little bit softer, yet still as grippy. It's got that really cool, not cool that it's dirty. Gotta clean my knives, damn it. Cool hollow on the blade. My girlfriend loves this one. She'd like to take it from me, but she's nice enough not to, because I probably let her. But she likes it because it cuts paper so well, and she's big on testing out knives that way and saying, oh wow, this thing really goes through. The blade steel on this guy is CPM 30 CV, and it's $212.80 for the Smock. The Smock, that's the last name of the, I don't remember his first name, but it's the designer of this knife, and it's just a little bit unusual. It doesn't have that leaf shape to the blade, more like a reverse Tonto. Moving on. Still going to be a long video, unfortunately. Can't seem to help myself. Benchmade. Second Benchmade in this portion of the collection is another iconic one, just like the Bugout is. This is the Osborne 940. And this one has the original handles because they're pretty cool. I didn't feel the need to change them out. It just kind of cool design to it. Feels really good in the hand. Nice little work knife. Not super tall blade, but definitely is a good worker. Yeah, I mean, I like this knife. And it's just one of those iconic Benchmades. There's a couple others that I'd like to buy, but it's just kind of hard to compete with other stuff out there. There's just so many. When I'm trying to figure out what to buy, it's like I have so many choices and so many that I want, but I can't buy them all. I just can't. I keep telling myself that I can't buy them all, but I seem to buy a lot. $216, but it's a pretty good knife. S30V, flat grind. Probably could use a hollow, but it's a great knife. Moving on, Kizer, the Megatherium. If you watch my channel for a while, you know I like Elisha Isham's designs, and this one, it has that kind of look to the handle where it swells out in the back. It gives you a great place for your index finger and sometimes your second finger there to kind of grip in there, and it won't slide out because it gets bigger towards the back, and at the same time it kind of hooks you in here. Big tall blade. Really like my big knives. It's got the Elisha Isham logo on it there, and has that crazy name like most of his have, Megatherium. It's got like a subframe lock, because back here you're not going to put pressure on it when you're trying to flick it out. Kind of nice. The hole is huge, but works really well. It's got a flipper. Never really use it, but it does work. It's got a ting. You can get that ting, especially on the flipper. And of course, when I'm trying, I can never make it happen. There's a little bit. All right, can't stay here all day. Got to keep moving. We're on to another Artisan Cutlery that really goes on and on. This one is a little premium Artisan Cutlery. It's got the fat carbon in there, titanium handles. The blade steel on this is M390. I bought this with a bunch of other, like four Artisan Cutleries in a group that were like, somebody had collected them with the titanium and all that kind of stuff. I probably wouldn't have bought them individually, but I got such a great price on the four that I just couldn't pass it up. It's kind of got that Emerson kind of ramp kind of thing on the way that comes up and has that jimping on there. Cool knife, little thin knife. It's a Ray Laconico design. This one, I think I said it was N390. My girlfriend won a giveaway. Vicky B on the Bees Blades Live. That's really the only one she goes to because she's friends with Mrs. Bees, and they talk all the time on, we're not local to each other, but they're always texting each other. But I got this other one from a giveaway that she won, and, I don't normally keep two knives of the same brand, but I can't give this away, guys, because it is my girlfriend's. This is a RPM 9 steel and G10, so it's only coming in at $56. Just recently added it to the spreadsheet because my girlfriend was saying, hey, why don't you review this one? And I said, oh, because it's your knife. And she said, well, you should consider it as part of your collection. So it is what it is. But this is my version of it, and it's very cool. Not necessarily my main go-to style, but it's a cool knife anyway. Moving on. Next is a BRS, another Isham design from BRS. I think they're mostly known for their bally songs, but they did this Evolve group of knives that were, I think they were all manual knives. This one is the Isham design Eon. So it's the BRS Evolve Eon. It's a integral titanium knife. The price on this thing, I keep getting these pop-ups on my computer, getting in the way of me telling you the price. $260, which is not bad considering that it's an integral, and it's not USA made, but it's titanium and integral, and Isham design, M390 steel. I like this knife. It has this whole story. When I was about at Blade Show last year and almost lost it to TSA, There's a whole thing about it, but it ended up making it home. But it does still have that design where it swells out in the back, place for your fingers up here so it doesn't slide onto the blade. Pretty thick, really, actually. Stock. My voice is going because it's a long video. Let's move on. We're almost done. Only 3 left. Spyderco. This is one of the ones that reasons why when I did the video before, I had to bail on it because I forgot to get this one out. Here we go. This one is called the Karahawk. Have you seen this before? I've done a video on it before, but I haven't seen a lot on it. It's a karambit, obviously. It's like, you know, without the blade, I can kind of flip it around under the camera without hurting myself. Normally, I don't hurt myself, but I don't like flipping it around under the camera. But it's karambit. It's got that reverse kind of grip. It's got the Emerson wave, so it's in the pocket, and then as you pull it out, you just, because the clip is here, this all sits up above your pocket, so you can really put your finger in there and just grab it and pull it, and it deploys it. It comes out, and you can slice those bags of mulch, as bees would say, as it comes out. Lock back. It's a little short blade, but yeah, that hook, that hawk bill kind of was really a karambit kind of thing. That's just wicked blade. It's got the Spidey hole there, but I mean, you could flick it out. It doesn't really flick as well because it's not really designed for that kind of deployment. But you can hold it this way if you want. You can EDC with it if you want. I mean, it'll work. Definitely a hawk bill is like kind of good to get those little utility cuts because you get it right on that tip. You just got to be careful about not putting too much pressure on it. But this is a great one. We're talking VG tin steel, and it's a Japan-made knife. You know, Spyderco makes them all over the world, and this is one of the ones that come from Seki City. It's got the Emerson patent on there, so they're paying Emerson to allow them to use that. And that's it for this one. Moving on. Almost done. Let's see how many more I got. I gotta scroll down. Almost done. We got 3 more left. We're on to Jack Wolf knives. All right, ready to go. Let's finish it off. M390 steel. This is the first one I bought from him. This is the first go round. The first time I met him, that's Ben Bilkin. He was at Blade Show West in Long Beach, and he wasn't selling them, but he had some to show, and I was definitely just falling in love with the whole presentation and his just his desire to make these knives and sell these knives. He's a really great guy. I talk with him every time I'm at a show. He was actually even at the California Custom Knife Show. And I'm always buying something from him when I meet him because I'm kind of addicted to these knives. They are very cool knives. There's a great walk and talk on these things. They really just snap into place. They're not going to do anything you don't want them to do. It takes a little bit to get used to, but it's kind of a cool fidget once you get used to the opening of a slip joint from Jack Wolf or one of these other premium ones that has good walk and talk. We got micarta here on the handle, and you can see how it patinas very nicely. Titanium here on the bolsters. It's coffin shape handle. M390 steel. Great grind lines on that hollow grind that cuts so well. This is a very functioning knife. $274.99. Comes with the slip. Comes with all the little can, the cloth, the little pog stickers, all that cool Jack Wolf stuff. Let's move on. Another blade knife that I did not have out here when I was trying to do the last video, and it was the final straw. Had to redo it. Probably a good thing because, oh yeah, it's still long, but I was making a lot more mistakes the first time around. This is the Kalem Blade Designs Ari. This one I saw on somebody's channel, and I thought it was just so cool, and I still think it's so cool. This one doesn't get really enough pocket time for how much I like this knife. I really like this knife. It's got titanium with this cool foil carbon fiber, aluminum foil carbon fiber. Looks really cool. It has that kind of similar to the BRS knife with a pivot and the way it is. a little bit different. Obviously, this is more like a proprietary or a design that they have for their knives. I haven't seen anything else from them actually, but I was so impressed with this one. It feels really good in the hand. Nice chamfering on the titanium handles. Good size, feels really good. Nice length of blade for me. Getting up there in the 4-inch range, I'm sure. Yeah, almost maybe 3 3/4. It's got great action. Front flipper. You can index it. You can get the hole. So all that good stuff. Frame lock that gets hidden a little bit underneath that overlay, which it makes it good for not putting pressure on that lock bar. And great pocket clip, everything about it. I just like this knife. This is the Kalim Blade Designs Ari. It's S90V, which is another reason to like it. And it is a $275 knife. Of course, these are just prices. I went through at some point and found all the prices, and that's what it is. $275 being our limit. We're all the way to the end of the collection. We got one, well, the end of this video. There's still going to be one other video. That's going to be another long one. This one is a non-California legal OTF. I don't carry this one. Don't go out and about with it, but I like to have it in the collection. I bought it used from a friend. This is No Limit. Is No Limit knives, and it's called the Nightstalker. The guy I bought it from is actually Nick Edwards at Behind the Edge. So if you watch his channel, you may have seen this one before, and he was making fun of that Nightstalker name. It takes a lot to actuate it, but it's got good grip on the little slide here. It's got some titanium in there and aluminum on the handle. So a lot of these things are all aluminum, a lot of the OTFs, but this one has some titanium in there too. Yeah, this is it fires out and it looks wicked. It's got this saw back on it, with holes in it, dual grind, little Tonto thing. I believe that this company is associated with Max Ace. So that's some of where it comes from what I understand. There's like a little glass breaker on there, or tension getter or whatever. So cool to have in the collection. I wish I could carry it. Hopefully Knife Rights will help me out with that. And that's it, guys. I made it. My voice lasted barely. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you're enjoying. I know some people are going to enjoy this. Other people are going to think it's way too long. You know, I don't knock anybody for that. I'm just kind of doing this kind of to do it. I think it's fun. It's a ton of work to go and find all these knives because I'm so disorganized. But it kind of helps me also to kind of realize I need to reorganize my stuff. Anyway, super long video, 53 minutes. I'm going to cut it here, and I will see you. One more of these to go. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.